YouTube, what is going on? Panda here, and this is going to be my Major League Wrestling, also known as MLW, and Ring of Honor Wrestling, also known as ROH, review for this week's episodes that both aired yesterday, Monday. I'm doing this on Tuesday, and the reason why I'm having two promotions at the same time is that both of these promotions are pretty short. Each expanding like an hour max with commercials and everything. You pretty much, they're like 45 minutes each. So I watch them without the commercials. I watch MLW on their YouTube channel, and I watch Ring of Honor on the Fight Network, Fight app. Guys, follow me on Twitter at UndergroundPen1 so you guys can get all of the channel news. Anything that I share up there, wrestling, could be pretty much anything that I'm doing, YouTube related or content related. Either way, guys, follow me on Twitter in the middle right there. But yes, we'll start out with MLW first, episode 62, coming at you guys from Wisconsin. We have, there's only 3 matches on the card, so I will be reading these pretty fast. Flamenta defeated Ray Horus, which this was 2 luchadors. They started out MLW, at least this taping particularly. Good match. It was very fast-paced, it was luchador wrestling, or lucha libre wrestling, actually, is the real thing. They did a lot of high spots. There isn't a lot of notes here that I have, so I'm just going to kind of shoot these from the hip. Flamenta did score a 450 splash off the top turnbuckle to pick up the win. I do remember there was like this really nasty hurricanrana that Ray Horus had done from the top rope to the outside. Looked really, really cool. Like I said, wrestling. It was a high octane, fast-paced match. Crowd seemed a little dead. I don't know if this is the last taping of MLW. Probably was late at night, but the crowd kind of wasn't in it. So, it is what it is, I guess. There was also a big thing about Savio Vega coming to MLW. Savio Vega, you guys know, is a Puerto Rican hero, Puerto Rican wrestler hero. He was a big deal. He was a WWF wrestler back in the 90s, and I think maybe the early 2000s as well, before he ended up leaving wrestling. He kind of did agenting. He did a lot of backstage stuff, agenting. He did some management over there in the WWF, and I think he also did it in TNA wrestling, as if I am correct on that. Second match, Low Key and Ricky Martinez. Ricky Martinez comes out with the this lady called I think De La Renta. What is her name? Yeah. De La Renta is she's like this I guess this made-up general manager right now. She's a heel manager, and I guess she's like an acting general manager for MLW right now. She has been for like 2 or 3 episodes. So she did make this match, Low Key versus Ricky Martinez. Low Key ends up winning this match with a double stomp. He double stomped Martinez, and then he took this elbow. He hit Martinez in the head with this elbow. And if you guys know anything about Low Key, whether it was TNA or his very short run in WWE, the dude is stiff as hell. I mean, I have friends that just hate this guy, hates his guts, when their buddies who wrestled him, either TNA, Ring of Honor. He was in Ring of Honor there for a minute too. A lot of promotions don't seem to like him because he is very stiff in the ring. So I don't know if the elbow to the head was legitimate or it was probably an accident, but Martinez did have like this glazed look over his eyes, like he probably had a concussion. Low-key is very stiff. I don't know why they call him the professional. I have no idea. He has a shitty attitude backstage, and he's stiff as hell, and a lot of wrestlers don't like working with him because of that, so I don't know why he's called a professional here. But it's MLW. And MLW is commentated by Jim Cornette, and I don't know the other guy's name. But Jim Cornette obviously is a character in himself, so, you just kind of got to take it for what it is. But yeah, there's not a lot of notes for MLW. My personal standing on Loki and the Martinez match, it was a match. That's all I can say. It wasn't bad. It wasn't WWE bad. It wasn't great either. I've seen better out of New Japan, and I've seen better out of Ring of Honor. It was a hard-hitting match. I understand. I know Martinez had stiffed Low-Key a couple times. I don't know if he was like answering back to Low-Key's stiff moves, but he went a little stiff himself, a little snug as we call it. But in the end, Low-Key won. Pretty much stoppage. Elbow to the head. Probably knocked Martinez out. Looked like he did have a concussion though, so I will let you guys know if there is any news Friday when I do the wrestling news. If not, then he just sold that elbow like a champ. But I was looking at him, and I was a little concerned that maybe he had a concussion just by the way he was looking. He looked kind of lost. After that match, though, De La Renta, they were doing like a backstage scenario, and she was like yelling at him or yelling like in his general direction. He didn't really respond to her. He was just kind of like, he had a bottle of water in his hand. He probably had like a bag of ice somewhere, around his neck. But he didn't look like he was all that healthy. So hopefully Martinez is all good. If Martinez did suffer a concussion, this would be another one Low-Key has given another wrestler. And I will continue to hate Low-Key as long as he keeps doing this. If this is legitimate, now if this is staged, like I said, one hell of a sell job from Martinez, I'll give him that. But like I said, I will find out more information when I can, because I know these were tapings. So they'll probably release info tomorrow or so. The main event, like I said, there was only 3 matches. A loser leaves MLW, Falls Count Anywhere, Mance Warner versus Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan, for any of you guys who don't know who Sami Callihan is, he's the guy that pretty much on Impact almost killed the Lone Wolf with that ridiculous chair spot where he came down with a bat, missed the chair, and like completely crushed his face with the bat. I don't like Sami Callihan. I did like him in NXT. He was with some, Chaos faction or Chaotic faction, whatever. He left WWE. I don't think they were going to keep him around anyways. He's this hardcore wrestler that staples people's anatomies to turnbuckles and all this. He belongs in CZW, but I don't think CZW even wants him. Just kind of a shit worker. He worked pretty... It was okay. I can't say that it was good. But Mance Warner, I say, definitely carried that match. But yeah, loser leaves MLW. I wonder who made up that stipulation. Jim Cornette. He still lives in 1980s and 1970s. But Falls Count Anywhere. This thing was brutal. They fought everywhere. And they fought in the ring. They fought in the crowd. They fought in the merchandise stand. Callahan actually threw the merchandise gating when it was closed. They had this gate around the merchandise, I guess, so people couldn't steal it, because MLW is in smaller venues, like Ring of Honor size venues, so their merchandise is kind of stashed off to the corner. He threw that on top of him. Looked brutal. He actually tried to put his hands up, and he ended up not doing so he took a shot kind of in the face. Warner did. I don't know. It was one of those ECW, CZW hardcore matches. Callahan ended up he took a staple gun and he stapled, he had 3 $1 bills that I guess either the fans gave him or he Took him out of his pants. I think fans gave him. And he stapled one to one arm, one to the other, and then the third one onto the dude's head, which he was bleeding by then. Warner was bleeding because of a chair shot and a trash can lid. It just hardcore crap everywhere. Callahan ended up stapling Warner's tongue to a door. We ended up finding out that it actually was a door. They brought up like what looked like a table without the legs, and a lot of people were confused. Even the commentators were kind of confused on exactly what that was. What the Warner had actually brought out of the ring. They did this spot where Callahan had power drived Warner off the top rope through like the door, the wooden piece. It looked brutal as hell. Warner's head snapped back a little dangerously when it made contact with that door, and thank God he was good. He was all right. They went for the cover. He had like a 2 count. Callahan did. Warner then got up and started beating the living crap out of Callahan with the half of the door. But pretty much what ended up happening was he just beat the crap out of Callahan with a door, and then he pinned him, and Callahan had lost, so Callahan has to leave MLW. Like I said, this probably is a stipulation of Jim Cornette, and you actually heard Jim Cornette's real feelings on Sami Callahan, because he does not like him at all. I tend to agree with Jim Cornette. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he does say that he's a piece of shit hardcore wrestler. He actually said it on the show, because their YouTube channel is not dubbed. Like the swear words are not like bleeped out. They're not dubbed over. So you get to hear like a lot of F-bombs and stuff like that. Which I watch New Japan, and that to me I find it more refreshing, especially when WWE is childish crap. But yeah, Callahan ends up leaving MLW. I'm happy about this as well, because the less I see of him, the better it is. I'm sure he's a great guy backstage and everything. He just when he botches and he hurts. He hurts a lot of wrestlers when he does botch. I'm not saying he botches a lot, but I don't know. He reminds me a lot of Low Key, but the hardcore edition of Low Key. But he's not as crazy as somebody like, who's that guy from the Gangsters back in ECW? Stabbed that dude. I can't remember his name. New Jack. There it is. New Jack. He's not as crazy as New Jack, but he botches not as often as he used to, probably because of that whole TNA Impact incident with the Lone Wolf. That yeah, he probably watches his wrestling a lot more. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much MLW. Like I said, they only have 3 matches because it is only like 45 minutes. So, the longest match, obviously, being the loser leaves MLW match, which probably ran, I think it was like 20 minutes. So, you had 2 matches for 20 minutes with promos and everything else. So, it kind of was like quick, fast-paced. You know the Lucha Libre match was going to be fast. Out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2. Sorry, my voice is going out. I give it like a 2 out of 5 because I know they have their tapings all the way up until the Chicago event, the next event, which is July, like the beginning of July. It's going to be in Chicago. That's like their pay-per-view, quote unquote, but it's just a live YouTube event that they kind of boost up like a pay-per-view. Is called some kind of Coliseum or whatever. Kings and Coliseum, something like that. So I do have to admit that MLW is like my newest wrestling promotion that I watch and will be covering here. So I will learn more about it as it goes on. I have watched all the episodes so far. You gotta think it's only a weekly programming, so 62 episodes is only what, a year and 2 months, a year and 3 months going on. So it is a relatively new promotion. The only reason why I follow it, really, that I got interested in it, was because my favorite heel, MJF, comes from MLW. So there you go. All right, guys. Ring of Honor now. They are in Chicago, Illinois. Episode 404. Obviously, they tape theirs on Saturdays. They do the 4 tapings. They do the month out, and then they, of course, have their pay-per-views. So here we go. First match was Hikulo versus Haruki Goto from New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was Goto. Hikulo was a newcomer. He's like 6'8". Oh, he's a brother of the Girls of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Goto hit the big clothesline for a near fall, but Hikulo answered with a suplex for a near fall. Hikulo then turned Goto inside out with a clothesline, but Goto kicked out for 2. Goto hit the Yuri Goroshi and the GTR for the win. Your winner was Hiroki Goto. It was I can't say it was sloppy. It was a weird one to follow because there's a clash of 2 different styles. Goto, obviously being a New Japan guy, he's the strongman style, very stiff. They do a lot of the forearm hits, like everything I told you guys about the New Japan pro wrestling. Their style that they do, their way of wrestling. And Hikulo, you could tell he's young. He's a green guy. He was a college basketball player. I don't remember exactly where he actually played college basketball. It was a Division I school. If you guys know, please leave it in the comments below. But yeah, you can tell he was green. He was green. And he's not as good right now as his brothers, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Those 2 are one of my favorite tag teams in all wrestling. The Girls of Destiny, of course, from New Japan. We will probably be seeing Hikulo in New Japan, probably with his brothers, for probably once he gets better in the ring. He's definitely a lot taller than the other 2. A lot taller. I don't think... No, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are not near 6'8". So, either way, they'll probably form like this faction. They'll probably form like the Guerrillas of Destiny, like make it like a bigger faction or whatever. So look forward to that. Kenny King, he did an interview. Kenny King says that he had an answer for everything Jay Lethal did in match 1 of their best of 3 series. Match 2 is actually the main event of the best of 3 series. King said he's borderline obsessed with Lethal. He says he has Lethal's timing and moves down so well that he can beat Lethal with his own move, which is the Lethal Injection. King said he might just do it again and sweep the series next week. Is it actually next week? Sorry, it was not the main event. Next week is... Okay. My apologies, guys. I did watch the main event. I just watched it. I don't know why I thought it was number 2. I guess I was actually excited because I like the best of 3 series personally. For Ring of Honor, I think that's something that they do that no other wrestling promotion does, is the actual best of 3. So, Women of Honor, World Champion Kelly Klein and Jenny Rose versus the Allure, Angelina Love and Mandy Leon with Velvet Sky. If you guys know, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky were part of the Beautiful People in TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it now. So, yeah, that was good stuff. The Allure attacked Klein and Rose behind, laid them out. The match never actually started. It was announced afterward that the match will take place at the Best of World pay-per-view on June 28th. I will be watching that. That was not a match, so I can't sit there and say that I can't call it a match. It was just hype building. I know the weird thing about pro wrestling, especially now, kind of in the summer, is a lot of big pay-per-views are here. Obviously, like the G1 Climax. Well, that's not a pay-per-view, but a big event for pro wrestling. G1 Climax, then you have the 2 NXT takeovers, AEW, SummerSlam, which is one of WWE's big 3. You have Ring of Honor, Best in the World, which is kind of Ring of Honor's WrestleMania, so that's like their giant thing, and MLW, of course, coming in with their Kingdoms of the Coliseum. which I don't know how big of an event that's going to be. I don't know how they will treat it, but pretty much these summer months, June, July, August, you get a lot of, you know, you get a lot of hype. So be prepared for that. So, anyways, there was a video package after the beatdown and the non-title. The Briscoe brothers, they had a recap. It said, at the Crockett Cup in April, the Briscoes were disqualified for using a chair in their match against PCO and Brody King. Obviously, Brody from WWE, the dancing dinosaur or whatever. That's stupid shit. The Briscoes attacked the referee afterward and declared war on the NWA. Ring of Honor and Impact, because Impact, I think, is the only one that actually still follows the NWA banner. They have like a inter-promotional relationship. So I will be doing my best to cover Impact. The only thing is I don't really know how to watch it. Like, they don't really advertise their stuff all that well. I know there's like a streaming service, but I really don't feel like paying the whatever it is. It's like $15 a month for it. I already pay for WWE. I pay for AEW, which is Bleacher Report. I pay for New Japan, and Ring of Honor and MLW are free. So I already pay a lot for wrestling, so I kind of don't want to pay another $15. They'll throw me at like 60. So anywho, so after NWA National Champion Colt Cabana wrestled James Storm to a 15-minute draw that was last week, Briscoes hit the ring and attacked Cabana. NWA World Champion Nick Aldis, who was sitting in the commentary, tried to make the save, but it was overpowered by the Briscoes. A grudge tag match pitting the Briscoes against Aldis and Cabana has been signed for Best in the World on June 28th in Baltimore. That's going to be a good match. I don't actually know who's going to win. Ring of Honor is actually less predictable, I think, than most of the wrestling other wrestling shows. So they also had another clip, because like I said, a lot of this is just hyping for their Best in the World. They had the Bandito showing defeating Shane Taylor. Dalton Castle says Rush will pay. That is going to be that big match, is Dalton Castle versus Rush at the Best in the World. So Dalton Castle obviously betrayed the boys. He beat up the boys, turned heel, and Rush just was beating the crap out of Dalton Castle. And Rush is the one that actually caused Dalton Castle to turn on the boys for good, because Rush beat him in like 30 seconds. It wasn't even that. It was probably 15 seconds. It was a squash match, especially for somebody who was the former Ring of Honor heavyweight champion and Dalton Castle. I kind of did not like that whole angle, but whatever. Okay, Shinobi Shadow Squad. That's Cheeseburger, Eli Isom, and Ryan Nova versus Lifeblood, Mark Haskins and Tracy Williams, and PJ Black. Okay, before I start talking about this match, Cheeseburger. Let's talk about him. Cheeseburger is this skinny, probably 110 pounds soaking wet, quote-unquote wrestler. I don't like him, mainly because I don't see him as a athlete. I see him more as a child. He looks like a child in the ring. When I saw Ring of Honor live, was this 3 or 4 years ago, the first time I saw Cheeseburger, and he was in a feud with his former tag team partner that betrayed him, turned heel. His tag team partner, which was a cruiserweight, by the way, he was a beefy dude, but he ended up losing to Cheeseburger, because Cheeseburger has the Jushin Thunder Liger chop that insults me, because Jushin Thunder Liger was my mentor. But it just, I don't like Cheeseburger. I don't see him as a wrestler. I really don't. I mean, his in-ring work has gotten better since the last time I saw him 3 years ago. Well, let me rephrase that. I saw him for the first time 3 years ago And then as I've been watching Ring of Honor, I've seen him improve the actual times he's actually on the tapings. But he's not gaining any weight, and he looks like the wind will break him. He's so skinny, very, very tiny dude. Short too, so he's like a... No, he's not even a cruiserweight. He's like a light cruiserweight. Because at least cruiserweights have muscle on them. Anyways, Haskins, Williams, and Black isolated Nova and worked him over. Nova eventually tagged in Issam, who ran on all three of his opponents. Issam landed a moonsault off the top rope onto Haskins on the floor. Later, Williams hit a Death Valley driver on Nova. Black followed a moonsault double stop on Nova for the win. So Lifeblood and PJ Black ended up beating the Shinobi Shadow Squad, which none of them are ninjas, so they don't even wear ninja outfits, so I don't get why they're called the Shinobi Shadow Squad. I know this is a new thing for them. I think it's only been maybe a month since they've been calling themselves that. I still don't get it. I still think it's dumb. But either way. After the match, Williams delivers a message to Bully Ray. He said Lifeblood will face Bully Ray and whoever Bully wants to bring, anytime, any place. Bully Ray is Bubba Ray Dudley for you WWE guys. And Lifeblood has this big thing with Bully Ray that they say he's like a coward. They said this 2 weeks ago. It was like a coward. They want him to step out of, come into the ring, face them, fight them, because he had screwed them over, like this pay-per-view a little while back and everything. It was a little crazy, but hey. At least they're fighting for something, all right? This isn't WWE where we're just going to throw shit up against the wall and then you just have to accept it. At least there is some story building. There is some story arc as to, like, what's eventually going to happen at Best in the World, which, like I said, I'll be watching. So the main event, guys, was a 4-corner survival match. It's Jeff Cobb versus Rush versus PCO versus Jay Lethal. Jeff Cobb, as you guys know, is in the G1 Climax 29. He's in the A bracket. It's either one of the two. But he's a fantastic wrestler from the Isle of Samoa. I just don't think he's going to win because there's too much star power in that. But anyways, PCO scored the first near fall after hitting a Vader bomb on Rush. Yes, they steal Vader's finisher. Rest in peace, Vader. Cobb got on a roll, hitting a standing vertical suplex on Rush, an overhead throw on PCO, and a spinning side arm slam on Lethal. He covered Lethal for a near fall. PCO hit a pop-up powerbomb on Lethal, but Cobb made the save. Cobb hit a Samoa drop and standing moonsault on PCO. I have to say, Cobb's Samoa drop and standing moonsault looks amazing. Alright, definitely watch. For a guy his size, he's not a little dude. For a guy his size and to move around the way that he can and, do the Samoan drop and then he stands and does the moonsault, it looks great for a guy his, like I said, his size. But Rush made the save. Rush landed a release overhead belly-to-belly suplex on Cobb, but Lethal made the save. PCO went for a senton off the top rope onto Rush on the apron, but Rush moved out of the way. PCO hit the apron. He speared it pretty much. It was it was the senton. Yeah. So he went for like a Jeff Hardy swanton, but he ended up hitting the apron, which, yeah, you could definitely hear it. That was a loud thud. Lethal hit the lethal injection on Rush, but Rush was able to roll out of the ring. At that point, Kenny King came down ringside. Lethal was momentarily distracted. That allowed Cobb to snatch Lethal and hit Tour of the Islands for the victory. So Cobb wins the 4-corner survival match, also known as a Fatal 4-Way. So there it is. Kenny King said to Jay Lethal, "I'm not playing. I'm not crazy. I'm just better." So yeah, that was Ring of Honor and MLW. So yeah, my review on Ring of Honor out of 5 was a 3. And the reason why I say that is because the matches where the actual wrestling matches were really good. It's slightly above average. A 3 out of 5 is slightly above average show. And I have to say that I wish the Women of Honor match had taken place. I just don't understand. Like, I understand they're trying to build the beautiful people with their third wheel, as I call them, up for Best in the World. They're trying to build a lot of these matches up for Best in the World. So, I do give them some leniency, very little. That, and they also do these tapings a month out, so they kind of got to, get their stories correct and everything. But I have to say that my favorite match was the Fatal 4-Way match. There was a lot of good high spots. Like I said, Cobb's Samoan drop and standing moonsault is a work of art in itself. I watch him closely in New Japan as well when he does that, and I love it. I love what he does. Hopefully we get to see more of him, in Ring of Honor. Hopefully one day we get to see him as the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. That will be good too. I really hope that somebody gives him a push. So, yeah, it's interesting. Ring of Honor is interesting. If I had to choose between the two, which I normally don't, Ring of Honor, MLW was very meh this week. Normally MLW brings out a lot more oomph to their shows. I know the Lucha Libre match was pretty fun and entertaining to watch. Nice fast-paced action, a lot of high spots, flips. What you would see out of a Lucha Libre style matchup. But I think the other two matches fell flat, mainly because of the workers in there, meaning Low-Ki and Sami Callihan. If it was anybody else in those except for those two, I think it would have been a hell of a lot better show. But hey, you can't hit home runs all the time. Just ask the WWE that. They haven't hit a home run in about 6 seasons. So that's for you baseball guys. Ring of Honor did good matches. The first match was pretty solid. Like I said, I wish the Women of Honor actually would have wrestled. Because Women of Honor, the women's division in Ring of Honor is actually pretty good. They're not as good as WWE's women's roster, and I do have to say that very hesitantly, but it is true. But of course, Impact right now has the best women wrestlers because it has Tessa Blanchard. She is one of the best women. She's probably the best women's wrestler in modern day wrestling right now. So if you like to argue that, please argue it in the comments below. But it's true. But yeah, main event, the Fatal 4-Way from Ring of Honor was their best match. I always love seeing Jay Lethal. Like I said, I like seeing Cobb. Rush Hayes, he's okay. He's just a big stock. Well, he's not big. He's like a stocky Mexican dude. I think he comes from CMLL or AAA. He's one of those two big promotions. I might actually be wrong, but I know he has a Hispanic heritage background. But he's another good wrestler too. Ring of Honor has really good talent, and I will be looking forward to seeing more Ring of Honor wrestling, and of course be ordering that pay-per-view Best in the World when it comes here June 28th. 10 days. Don't worry, guys. You'll get a review of that as well. Should be a good 3-4 hour show. So last year's Best in the World was amazing, by the way. So one of the best shows of the year, in my opinion. Of course, AEW didn't exist back then, so it's going to be an interesting time in professional wrestling. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't worry, the gaming content and everything is going to be coming at you guys when it shows up. YouTube is pretty slow when it comes to gaming content, but it's actually really fast when it comes to wrestling content. Of course, I'm not really using up a lot of data here. Yeah, guys, just hang in tight. You guys will get your Total War, your Witcher, and your Vampire for today, as well as your 2 wrestling reviews, thoughts. What I got going on here. But yes, like I said, I'll be trying to do Impact Wrestling. I just got to figure out a way to watch it without paying another $15 because that is just getting ridiculous with all these streaming services. So I'll figure it out, and if so, I'll let you guys know. If not, I will just not cover Impact. So, which is going to be sad, because Impact has gotten a lot better, especially when I quit watching it. The whole Hulk Hogan thing and the Bischoff thing and Sting looked like the Joker. It was dumb. So, anyways, guys, like I said, follow me on Twitter at UndergroundPan1. Please click that follow button, guys. Also, for this channel, don't forget to give it a like or dislike, a comment, rate, subscribe, share. Do what you guys can to get this channel out there. I do appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. You guys have been amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody who is interacting with this. I'm liking the traction that I'm getting from these wrestling reviews. These will keep coming your way, so I hope you guys enjoy them. Don't worry, SmackDown is coming in tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be a shit show, just like Raw was. Fuck WWE. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing, unless your name is Triple H and NXT. But, hey, there will be a positive WWE review, most likely, on Thursday when NXT airs on Wednesday. So, yeah, guys. So other than that, man, have a wonderful rest of Tuesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more gaming and wrestling content. But until then, take care for now.